This is Eddie Hearn, Matchroom Boxing. You're watching Sporting Icons. You don't need to be anywhere else.
Right, so I was watching a video with Breazeale, and he pointed out that Deontay Wilder done an interview with ES News. Now, with ES News, that's not really a channel that I'm subscribed to, because I don't like the guy who runs it in his paparazzi style, filming every little thing and cutting up into millions of different clips. For me, that's not my way of reporting, and I don't like that. But Deontay Wilder did a 30-minute interview on this one, and for whatever reason, he's got like 2 cameramen there, and they just can't get the damn job right. But either way, within this one, Deontay Wilder is talking about Barry Hearn. A lot of you guys will know, I had Barry Hearn on the channel the day after the press conference where he was talking about being a slave trader and things like that. And Barry Hearn explained everything in that one, and that video will pop up at the end of this video, so stay until the end. That video will pop up, give it a click, and you can hear Barry Hearn's version of events from that press conference. And make sure that you are subscribed to this channel, of course, let's not forget. Now, Deontay Wilder, first of all, he says that he understands what it was that Barry Hearn was saying. And what Barry Hearn was saying was he wasn't being racial when he used the terminology of being slave masters and things like that. He wasn't being racial, he was saying it across the board, as in not just him, but all promoters around from his era were like that. The fighter worked for them, and they told the fighter who you're fighting, blah, blah, blah. Had nothing to do with skin colour or anything like that. He was doing it with white guys, with black guys, with any kind of race. So Wilder saying that he understands that's what Barry Hearn was getting at, but he didn't like the terminology, which is fair enough. And I understand it from, maybe say from an American perspective, because America, especially in Southern America, you've got a racial divide, it appears, at least anyway from the outside. So I understand why people will be jumping up and down about it. But for Wilder to come out and say that he understood what it was that Barry Hearn was saying, and then say, and all fighters should leave Matchroom, all black fighters should leave Matchroom. I mean, how can you say that you understand and then say that all black fighters should leave Matchroom, when you know fine well Barry wasn't being racial? So this is an agenda-driven response from Wilder. Why? Because he just doesn't like Eddie Hearn. Why? Because Eddie Hearn is trying to make him versus Anthony Joshua. He doesn't want to fight Anthony Joshua. He feels backed in the corner, and he's been exposed as using Anthony Joshua's name as clout. He's just been clout chasing for a long time. So Wilder will do everything that he can to point the finger at the Hearns. And he even said that he believes that the Hearns have slavery in their ancestry, which, no, I mean, straight away, Barry Hearn is self-made. In other words, he grew up with nothing. He'd never pot to piss in. So, no, they wouldn't be able to afford to employ people of any race. So, Wilder, you're wrong on that one. But the thing is, I mean, what makes me laugh is that everybody on Matchroom, they all get paid well. Okay, and even Barry Hearn was saying at that press conference how it is today compared to yesteryear is today the fighter is the boss. The fighter runs the shows. Matchroom work for the fighters, opposed to his era and Don King, Frank Warren, etc., where the fighters worked for the promoter. But now he's saying that the promotional company like Matchroom work for the fighter. So why would you want people to leave when they are their own boss? They run the show. They say who's on the undercard. They do the whole caboodle. Whereas people over at the PBC, you guys don't have a choice as to who's on the undercard. You could probably request it. You guys get paid poorly in comparison to Matchroom, especially now that DAZN's on board. For example, Dillian Whyte, he gets paid, well, in fact, I don't really know how much he gets paid, but he probably gets paid more than what Wilder usually does per fight. And Wilder's champion. But yet, Wilder wants to talk about how black people should, the black fighters should leave the Matchroom because of Barry Hearn's comments, even though he knows that Barry Hearn wasn't being racial. But yet, you have a guy, Shelly Finkel, who talked you out of a $100 million fight with Anthony Joshua. Back-to-back fights, $100 million, guaranteed. Who's really the slave driver here? And again, let's talk about that term, slave driver. Here in the UK, it's a common thing to use, slave driver. It's not being racial, it just seems to be part of the vocabulary. It's like, I don't know, you work wherever, whether it be some corporate company, whether it be a McDonald's, whether it be a Pizza Hut, wherever it may be. How was work today? Oh man, these people are damn slave drivers over there. It's just a terminology. Racial doesn't even come into it. It's just how certain things are here over there. Because here in the UK, of course there's problems with racial things, but nowhere near to the extent of America. America, I can't believe that even today in the 21st century that things are still going on over there. It's absolutely baffling to me. But as I said, so who's really the slave driver here? Matchroom? Or the likes of Shelley Finkel and Al Heyman? Because at least the Matchroom guys are actually getting paid and they're actually being respected. Finkel talked you out of $100 million with Anthony Joshua, a fight that you apparently wanted. Even though I knew that you didn't want it, and no amount of money would tempt you in that ring, and latest developments is you wouldn't even accept 50-50. So you keep on changing the goalposts because you don't want to fight. Shelley Finkel is talking you out of it. Shelley Finkel is telling you what to do. Master Finkel? So, by your own terminology, shouldn't you and shouldn't other people be looking at your situation going, damn. So shouldn't really people be leaving your stable, the PBC, by your own rationale? It's disgusting, really. I mean, as I said, Wilder's just using this as an excuse to point the finger at the Hearns. He never wanted to fight with AJ. He can go in about Dillian Whyte. Dillian Whyte understood. I'm sure it was uncomfortable. I'm sure of it. And as Barry Hearn said to me, the words that he used, maybe he shouldn't have used those words, but at the time he couldn't think of better ones, I suppose. It's just the terminology of here in the UK. I don't think that black people here in the UK really got that offended by Barry Hearn. They'd have preferred him to have used different terminology, but people understood what it was that Barry Hearn was getting at. That today's boxing is so much better than what it was, because today's boxers have control of their careers. They decide when they're fighting. They decide who they're fighting. They get to negotiate their own purses. They get to choose their own arenas. They get to choose everything. The undercard. Back in Barry Hearn's day, he never did. So for Wilder to say that he fully understands that and then say that every black fighter on the Matchroom stable should leave, that tells you that he has a different agenda. That in itself, it just tells you. Anyway, I mean, that's my thoughts. I'll put a link to the ES News over there. As I said, I'm not a subscriber of theirs at all. But you know what, I'll put a link to them anyway, so go give it a watch for yourself. And for this particular point of this video, it's at the end of that interview. The rest of the interview, so all before then, I'll watch, because obviously I didn't know what part that this whole thing with Barry Hearn was, but it's actually at the very, very end. But before he even gets to that point, he does talk about a lot of things that I do agree with, and one of those is Big Baby Jarrell Miller, where he's saying that Miller should receive a lifetime ban, and because he injected something, which is what exactly what I said. Now I never said the lifetime ban, but I said that it goes to the extreme. I mean, there's one thing accidentally taking something or having certain drinks with some kind of substance in it, but to put some gear into a needle like EPO, that's a no-no. That's blatant cheating. So I fully get what it is that Wilder was talking about with all that, and I agree with a lot of it. But of course, the ES New guys over there, they just didn't want to even dare mention the fact. So, well, hang on a second, isn't your brother currently banned right now because he took some PEDs? What about that, Wilder? Are you going to speak about that? But no one dare say a damn word to him. So it's contradictory. So why is he talking about Miller but not talking about his own brother? Maybe his brother's totally different. Maybe his brother just failed on a bit of weed. Don't know. Or maybe he was injecting crap into his ass. Who knows? Who knows? But anyway, so as I said, link to the ES News in the description box. and the Barry Hearn interview will be popping up on your screen right about now. Drop your thoughts below, click thumbs up, and of course subscribe. Catch you all on the next video.